I have a question for you guys. Have you guys ever seen Combat Gods? The stickman fighting thingy? Well, if you have, you know that they got straight hands. Hands for days. And honestly, I decided to make a Naruto who legit, just like I said, has hands for days. Basically Rock Lee, but on steroids, on sake, and on everything else you could possibly imagine. Naruto is going to be busted. So if you enjoy just combat scenes, this is pretty much what this What If is all gonna be about. So you're gonna love this one. That said, enjoy. Also, don't forget to leave a like on the video.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
This story immediately kicks off in, I want to say, the attack on the village. Now, the reason for that is not because of Obito, it's not because of the QB, but it's because I want to start everything off with Naruto being OP from birth. The reason for this is that I'm not going to make Naruto in the original sense, but instead I'm going to have like literally just some beam of light. Like Naruto's gonna be in his crib, Kurama's gonna be like looking at him, Minato and Kushina are both like literally just telling him like their final words, and right before they could even finish, a white light blinding everybody, like nobody could see anything, would shine over them, as Naruto would have this light go all over his entire body, and it would be like a spirit from another dimension was just like literally just sucked into the soul of Naruto. Like Naruto and this person now share sentience combined. Like it's almost like their souls would have merged. So now Naruto not only is going to be just some random kid who happens to have the QB because, you know, Minato already does that and all that stuff, but Naruto is now also going to have access to one of the greatest fighters in the entire universe, like ever, bro. Like we could take it as like literally anybody. Like you guys could think Sun Jin Woo, you guys could think the Monkey King, you guys could think Goku, you guys could think the Grand Priest, you guys could think who's another character that got hands, Baki. You guys could pretty much think of any character at all. Naruto will have those fighting styles, and the reason for that is because this fighter, who would pretty much have been like merged with Naruto, would be the greatest hand-to-hand combat fighter in all of anime and all of DC and all of, like, bro, everything, bro. Like I don't think I can stress enough how OP Naruto's gonna be, right? But ultimately, it's not like this power is just gonna immediately be there, right? Because he does have the body of a kid, so he's not gonna be having all the strength he could potentially harness off rip, right? He's gonna have to work for it. So during Naruto's early childhood years, Naruto, when he would be getting made fun of and stuff like that, he still wouldn't let things slide. Like at one point, he's like 4.5 years old, right? And an adult was talking mad smack. Like this adult was just being super grimy, and Naruto had just moved out by himself. He went to go get himself some groceries, and this guy was just not willing to sell Naruto a thing. So you know what Naruto does? Naruto quite literally proceeds to look at the man and goes, "Look, if you don't want to sell me anything, that's fine. Okay? It's fine. I'm not going to question you. I'm not going to beg you. But I am going to leave you with a little gift." And the man would look at him, raise an eyebrow, and then Naruto, like with like a little kunai that he has in his pocket, he straight just slashes up at the man's eyes, cutting it, and then just straight disappears like in a flash. Like Naruto, even though he's not as fast as he could potentially be, he just like straight blatantly disappeared from this man's sight. He using the body flicker, something that nobody else at 4 years old has ever been able to use. But Naruto just did it, and from here he would pretty much find himself back at home, where Naruto would end up like pretty much cleaning off the kunai, sharpening it again, and simply thinking to himself that that was another rude encounter. Eventually, Naruto would find himself training on his physical body. For some reason, Naruto feels so at home when he just meditates, trains, and looks forward to working on his body and strengthening it. Naruto at the age of 4 is currently learning how to do things like the splits, learning how to jump up higher, cartwheels, front flips, back flips. Like, Naruto is becoming as acrobatic and nimble as he could possibly become for his early young age. And eventually we time skip to a point where Naruto would officially be about 9 years old. The academy would have just started and everybody would kind of begin getting acquainted with each other, and Naruto would end up being introduced to the classroom. Naruto walks in, and because he has the soul of like an older person inside of him, he's not childish by any means. So he's not walking in there and he's like, my name's Naruto Uzumaki and I'm gonna be the greatest Hokage. Like, none of that. Like, Naruto straight walks in there, he stays silent, he goes to the back, and he's kind of like an Itachi kind of person, right? But eventually Iruka tells them all that he's going to be testing them to see where they are physically, and so he pretty much ends up making them all face off against each other. Naruto, seeing all of this go down, realizes that his opponent is actually going to be Kiba. I don't know, whatever Kiba's last name is, right? But Kiba just looks at him and he's like, I have to fight this guy? Really? Could have given me anybody else, but sure thing, I guess I'll clobber him in front of the class. Naruto, after hearing that, would just have a chuckle, as from here he would look towards Kiba and get into his fighting stance. Kiba mocks him by getting into the same exact stance, and then looks at Naruto, sticks his tongue out, and then rushes in immediately, trying to like throw a punch at him. Naruto, however, quickly weaves 4 punches, and Kiba would then jump on him trying to tackle him, but like Naruto straight just sidesteps it, and then when Kiba's on the ground trying to recover, Naruto just kicks Kiba out of the circle, causing Kiba to get embarrassed, and he'd be like, hey, I slipped, like that's not fair, you know, run it back. But Naruto just walks away, and Kiba would be like, get back here. But Naruto doesn't even care whatsoever, and he proceeds to simply just look towards Kiba and say, chill out, bro, like it's not worth it. As from here, Kiba throws a punch at Naruto when he's not looking, and Naruto turns around, catches it, and says, you know, you probably shouldn't have done that. As from here, Naruto proceeds to kick him square in the stomach and then uppercut him square in the face, sending him flying backwards as Kiba rolls on the floor, and everybody watches as Naruto just walks away from the class. From here, Naruto would make his way towards training grounds, where Naruto would begin to throw 10,000 punches at a wood block over and over and over and over and over and over and over. It literally would feel like his arms were about to fall off. He then proceeds to do 10,000 squats. He then does 10,000 push-ups. He then does a 1,000 like kilometer run. Like, bro goes nuts to butts. Like I can't put it any more like harder than that. And this is Naruto at 9, mind you. Naruto's training just gets harder and harder, and his speed and his attributes and the time that he spends doing all this training, the amount of hours he puts in the library to look up books and train with them and all that stuff, and the amount of time that Naruto was put into learning sword fighting, kunai fighting, shuriken throwing, and even the basics of chakra and fundamentals such as wood style, or sorry, not wood style, but earth style and water style and fire style and earth style, like, and lightning style. Like, Naruto already has all 5 elemental natures down packed by the time that the day of the graduation would finally arrive. Eventually they would have one final test where they have to face off against each other, and of course Iruka, not liking Naruto, would pair him up against Sasuke. Sasuke would do his absolute best to try to defeat Naruto, but ultimately it's completely in vain, as Naruto would simply sidestep all of Sasuke's attacks with his hands in his pockets, and eventually Sasuke jumps up into the air, shooting a fire style jutsu at Naruto, to which Naruto would simply slam his hands on the ground, create an earth style jutsu, create a clone, throw his clone up into the air. Sasuke would be distracted, and then suddenly he gets grabbed from underneath using the headhunter jutsu as he's taken underneath the ground, and Naruto would simply proceed to walk away already, like just not even caring to know if he passed or not. Like, Naruto couldn't be bothered. But it's at this point that Naruto, as he's leaving, he realizes that Mizuki was actually talking to another student, lying to them about how they can become a genin by simply stealing the scroll of sealing. Naruto from here would end up making his way toward Hiruzen's office, and in the dead of night he realizes that kid finally did go through it. Naruto, once he sees this, he'd think to himself, how dumb do you have to be? But little does he know that in the original canon he was the one who did it. But regardless of that, I digress. Continuing forward, Naruto would simply look at the kid and tell him to get lost, that, you know, he was here first and that it was a test of speed. The kid gets pretty sad about that and then leaves the area, and Naruto would immediately go over, grab the scroll, and then like just kind of have like a little bit of a witty smile on his face. As from here, Naruto decides that his best course of action would probably be to meet Mizuki. However, Naruto decides that it would probably also be extremely smart if Naruto wrote down a bunch of these jutsus for himself. Maybe this way he can actually become more and more powerful, and Naruto can, you know, get some restricted jutsus that he shouldn't have access to. Naruto writes down jutsus like the jutsu of bringing people back from the dead, the reanimation jutsu, the flying Raijin, the Rasengan, the multi-shadow clone jutsu, and jutsu such as like insanely powerful like dragon style water jutsus, you know what I mean? And they're just insane, the amount of jutsus that Naruto learns. He copies them down, and for the next week, like Naruto would spend just like working on them down packed, like making sure that he gets them as fast as possible. And even learning forbidden kenjutsu techniques, and even techniques that allow you to harness your energy, and instead it pretty much saps away at your life force every time that you use it, right? And Naruto just keeps using all of these jutsus, practicing on them, becoming more and more powerful day by day, and it eventually gets to the point where Naruto was just so incredibly busted. Like you couldn't fathom how strong Naruto is at this point, and he's 13, bro. But eventually the moment would come when Naruto meets Mizuki and he pummels him to the floor. It's so bad how Mizuki gets defeated. Mizuki throws the shuriken at Naruto. Naruto catches it with one finger and then redirects it back at Mizuki, causing Mizuki's head to get decapitated from his body, and then Mizuki just straight gets GG'd, you know, rest in peace, might I add. But after that happens, the following day at school, Naruto would be told about what team he's going to be placed under, and he would be informed that he's going to be placed under Team 7 alongside that of Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and obviously himself. He ends up waiting for Kakashi, and he realizes that 2 hours pass, but Naruto doesn't care. That whole time he was just meditating. And Sasuke just had his eyes closed and was sitting there looking meticulous, but Naruto was image training in his mind what it would be like to finally face off against somebody who could actually give him a run for his money. Like, it's so sad how powerful Naruto is at this current moment. Like, compared to the rest of the world, it's genuinely tragic. But what would pretty much end up going down after this is that Kakashi would arrive, they have introductions, and the following day they would all be informed of the bell test. The bell test would finally come, and then Kakashi, after taking about 1 hour and being late, would finally end up arriving close to where he pretty much told them to meet up. Once this would happen, he would end up pretty much telling them all that what they're going to do here is just take the bell test, and then he would say 3, 2, 1. And in a flash, like Naruto straight just grabs the bells, and Kakashi just doesn't even realize it. Kakashi from here would turn and see Naruto already has them in his hands. Kakashi would be completely shocked. He's like, how did you? And Naruto says you weren't paying attention. And Kakashi's like, do it one more time. And Naruto was just like, all right, sure. From here, he would proceed to like get into a stance. Kakashi would take out a Sharingan, and as he would do this, Naruto would come flying in with a little kunai as he cuts off both the bells, and Kakashi would try to react with his body fast enough to counter, but Naruto would grab them, go in and out, and just immediately take those bells away from the plain side of Kakashi. Kakashi's so stunned he can't even speak, and from here he would ask Naruto if he's just fast or if he can actually fight. Naruto from here would slow things down, and they would get into a very intense taijutsu brawl. Kakashi throwing punches and kicks, but they would each be parried, dodged, and redirected towards a different direction. Naruto would even counter with his own blows of his own, and when Kakashi would throw a kick, Naruto would block it with his own leg, before then spinning to the side, kicking Kakashi himself, shooting a fire style jutsu at him. Kakashi substitutes out of the way, body flickering behind him, creating like 20 clones which would each rush at Kakashi, throwing punches and kicks. Kakashi would do his absolute best to keep up, but he ultimately gets overwhelmed by the clones in and of themselves, and they all end up attacking him, holding kunais at different parts of Kakashi's body, to the point where he can't even weave a hand sign to use the substitution jutsu, and Naruto would say, "You're done for." Kakashi would be too shocked to even end up saying, "Oh no, you didn't pass," because yada yada yada. Like, he's genuinely just that surprised. And so what would pretty much end up going down after this is that like Naruto would proceed to just get past along with Sasuke and Sakura. And Sasuke would end up coming out of hiding being all like, "How did you get those eyes?" You know what I mean? And Kakashi would explain that he had a friend, and he would then finally explain the real reason of the bell test. All of them understand, and they like kind of get like a new perspective on life after hearing this speech from Kakashi. But ultimately what would pretty much end up going down after this is that they just kind of like acknowledge what Kakashi said, and they try to take his words into practice as much as they possibly can. You know, they try to make sure that they can do things as well as they, you know, I mean, how do I put it? Like they take his words into account. Sasuke believes him. Sakura's like, "Wow, like that's true." And then Naruto's like, "Obviously, like what kind of a dummy doesn't know that? Like obviously the lives of your comrades are more worth it than a mission." And Kakashi, when he hears Naruto say that, he says, "I wish the village saw it just like you, Naruto, but unfortunately they don't. And that's why my father, Sakumo Hatake, had to take his own life." Naruto looks at him and says, "You didn't have to do anything. Your father's a coward." And Kakashi, once he hears that, he'd be shocked. He's like, "What did you say about my father?" And Naruto's like, "Your father's a coward." And Kakashi would like immediately like get angry and like try to like blitz at Naruto, right? And, like hold a kunai to him and be like, "Hey, like don't forget I'm still your teacher." But Naruto would then appear right behind him as the kunai would end up like kind of would be pressed on the clone's neck, and it would just poof out of existence. Naruto from here would throw up a kunai into the air, and from here he would hold another one to Kakashi's neck, as Naruto would then teleport to the other one and slam down on it, slightly missing but grazing Kakashi enough for Kakashi to feel the feeling of what a blade would feel like going down his spine. And Kakashi would be absolutely stunned, like he's too shocked to speak. Sasuke is just fuming with jealousy at this moment, and Sakura would be looking at Naruto like, "I didn't realize he was this strong." But ultimately what would pretty much end up going down is that 2 weeks worth of D-rank missions would pass by, and eventually they would then be told to make their way to the mission of the Land of Waves. They'd be introduced to Tazuna the Bridge Builder, and eventually after a couple of hours of waiting and a good night's rest, they would finally find Tazuna at the bridge. Once they would start the mission, about 30 minutes into it, give or take, they end up encountering the Demon Brothers, who use an illusion to try to catch them off guard. Kakashi this time around, before he even gets the idea to substitute out of there and see what his team is capable of, Naruto would have immediately rushed in at the direction of the Demon Brothers and began to immediately fight them one-on-one hand combat, right? One of them would lunge in at Naruto, slashing at the air, and Naruto simply spins mid-air before split kicking them both in the face, as both of them would get sent flying, and then Naruto would rush up to another one, placing a kunai on his neck firmly, before then grabbing him by the hair and asking him why he's here and attacking them. Like what is their business? The brother would immediately like shiver in fear, and he proceeds to turn towards Naruto and say that he was hired by Gato, that they were going to be paid a handsome sum of money to take him out. And Naruto's like, "Is that it?" And the man would say, "Sure." Naruto from here like lets him go, and then from here Kakashi would go over and finish him off. Naruto, after he sees that, would ask him why he did that. He would say that that was completely dishonorable, considering that he was already taken care of and he couldn't defend himself. And Kakashi says that in the world of ninjas there's no such thing as honor in combat. Naruto says that's what you think, but there's always honor in combat. And from here, Kakashi would go on to pretty much take out the other demon brother before finally they make their way deeper into the forest. Eventually, Zabuza would end up arriving, and when Zabuza's on top of his sword, Naruto would grip the sheath of his own blade as he takes it out, and eventually he turns towards Kakashi before asking Kakashi if he can have some fun. Kakashi would say, "Go for it, Naruto," and immediately Naruto would blitz at Zabuza standing on top of his own sword, hand on the sheath of his blade, as from here, Naruto holds his hand out in front of Zabuza with the 1-inch punch ready to just send it, you know what I mean, like full send it. And then from here he immediately, bam, the 1-inch punch, sending Zabuza flying into the lake and causing him to literally skip like a stone. Eventually, Zabuza would sink into the water and come out with so much killing intent it would even shock Kakashi. But Naruto would be standing in front of him as Zabuza would immediately wave hand signs for a water dragon jutsu. Naruto from here would immediately go on a wave hand signs for his own, copying Zabuza to the letter, and then they would both clash. Naruto's would end up overwhelming Zabuza's, however, and Zabuza would wonder how in the world a Genin got this strong. Naruto says that he's no ordinary Genin, as he would appear behind Zabuza once more, and from here, Naruto would proceed to hit him in 3 different pressure points, 1 on his side and 2 on his arm. So now Zabuza's entire body just went limp, and the only feeling that Zabuza has on his body is his legs and like his head. That's it. He can like move his lips, but that's it. He falls onto the ground and Naruto grabs him by his shirt collar, dragging him back towards land, before then suddenly a senbon would go flying near Naruto's ear. He turns towards his right and he sees somebody rushing in at him, coming in with full intent to kill. Naruto would look towards the direction of the team and would say, "Don't worry, I got this." Naruto from here would get completely frozen in a thick case of ice, and Haku would scream at the top of his lungs saying, "Zabuza!" It would be at this point that Haku would turn his attentions towards the direction of Sasuke and Sakura and the bridge builder and would be about to perform the ice crystal mirror jutsu. However, it would be at this moment that the ice would begin to break slowly, and Haku would turn back only to see Naruto coming in and elbowing him straight in the stomach, before then kicking him up into the air by his jaw. And mid-air, Naruto throws a kunai behind Haku, catches it, and bam, just on the top of the head. Like, he jams the dull part, not the blade, but the handle into Haku's head. Straight just jams it in there, Mortal Kombat like X-ray style, and Haku just falls to the ground and would immediately just pass out. Naruto from here looks towards the direction of Zabuza and says that that's over now, and then he would turn towards Kakashi before saying that they should probably get going. Kakashi from here would look at Naruto with a completely shocked expression on his face, and he would say that that ninja was moving at such speeds that he barely was able to track him with a Sharingan, and Naruto was able to just kill him like that. Like, what is Naruto even like what even is Naruto? Kakashi would be thinking, like, there is no way in the history of any Genins that a Genin has ever been that strong. He doesn't even think that his master Minato was even not even half as strong as what Naruto is displaying right now. And Naruto just proceeds to keep continuing getting down. Eventually, Tazuna would take him over to his humble abode, and once they would end up arriving, seeing as this time Kakashi doesn't have like as much injuries as in the original, Kakashi would simply rest for 1 day before then immediately beginning Team 7's training, teaching them things like water walking and tree walking since they have time, and teaching them a bunch of different formations for attacking and things like that. Eventually the day would come, however, when Gato's men would finally end up arriving on the bridge, and when that day would finally come, Naruto would simply just say to the team that he got it. As from here, Sasuke would hold a hand out and say that nah, he wants to do something, like Naruto's been hogging everything. And Naruto would say, okay, well, you can try. But it'd be at this moment that Naruto would hold out the seal for shadow clones, and 100 would pop up instantly. Immediately, they blitz over towards the direction of all of these people, and they would throw their blades at the direction of Naruto clones, right? But he would catch them with two fingers, catch the blade, shatter it, and then blitz at them and just like absolutely just destroy all of Gato's men. Like, they quite literally had no hope from the start. And then Naruto, once he's done with all of them and Gato's the last one left, Naruto would proceed to basically Yamcha him as he uses the Wolfang Fist, basically. The Wolfang Fist, not fist, sorry. And with 2 hands in like a wolf-like jaw-like thing, he would push it into Gato's body, sending him flying across the river, lake/thing, and then making him ricochet off the surface of the water so many times that Gato would like... It's have you guys ever seen like videos where people are driving and then they have somebody like tied to the car with like a rope and they're like dragging them and their bare skin is like peeling? Just imagine that, but on the water. And Gato would just like land, and then as soon as it all finally stops, this gigantic beast comes out of the water and just swallows Gato. And Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura, and even Tazuna would be completely shocked. Tazuna would end up naming this bridge the Great Naruto Bridge, and eventually they would make their way back towards the village. Once there, Kakashi in front of everybody would say that Naruto's levels as a genin is just completely laughable. He should immediately be moved up to Jonin like ASAP, considering that he was able to defeat 2 S-class tier ninjas. And Hiruzen would be like, are you serious right now? Like, Kakashi, like, you're not playing, right? And Naruto would be like, nah, he's not playing, but honestly, I don't think that I should just be given that rank just cause, like, I want to earn it just like everybody else. No easy ways, you know, no easy path. And Hiruzen's like, all right, Naruto, well, I guess you can simply prove yourself in the Chunin exams. Naruto bows before then ultimately leaving the area, and when he's by himself, he would end up hearing the screams of a young kid. Once he hears that, he would immediately rush over there, and he would realize that it's Konohamaru, telling some big kid to pretty much put him down and saying that he's a jerk, that his grandpa will beat him up. And it'd be at this moment that Naruto would body flicker behind him, as from here, he simply says, you know, I'd put the third Hokage's grandson down if I was you. As Kankuro says, huh? Third Hokage? What are you talking about? Naruto straight takes Konohamaru from his arms, puts him behind him, and then simply looks towards the eyes of Konohamaru before saying, you're lucky I was here. You know you were about to start the 4th Great Ninja War, right? If you would have taken him out, my village would have gone and desecrated yours. And I promise, it wouldn't have been pretty. And Kankuro looks at him and then he's like, he's sorry. He's like, that kid bumped into me, you know, like it won't happen again. And Naruto says, damn right it won't happen again because you're not going to live to see another day. Trust me, kid. I know exactly why you're here. You're here for the Chunin exams, right? Well, I'm going to make sure that you never have the chance to put your hands on a kid again. Like, what do you who do you think you are? Like, you think you can just pick on little kids? He couldn't even fight back. That's so dishonorable. And from here, like, Kankuro would be like, yeah, but suddenly sand would appear in front of them and Gaara would finally make his big entrance. Naruto, once he sees Gaara, would simply walk away and Gaara would be like, what's your name? As Naruto just literally ignores him, making his way towards this house and taking Konohamaru to the 3rd Hokage's area, right? Eventually, once this happens, a week would pass and they would find themselves inside of the Genin Academy, where they would be taking the Chunin exams, the first exam, the written portion. They would all make their way inside, and as soon as this test would start, it would go down just like it does in canon. See, Rock Lee this time around would end up suggesting to battle off against Sasuke Uchiha. However, this time, because Sasuke doesn't even have access to the Sharingan, Sasuke's mollywopping beating would be even worse than it was in the original. And Naruto, when he sees Rock Lee facing him with like nothing but Taijutsu, Naruto would end up actually facing off against Lee. And both of them would have like big grins on their faces as like Naruto would blitz in at Lee, throw the first punch, Lee catches it, he flips him around, Naruto then throws a kick as he's getting like flung mid-air, Rock Lee dodges it, Naruto then grabs him by the things on his arm, like the little like lace things, and then he pulls them to the side, causing Rock Lee to lose his ability to move his arms. Rock Lee then kicks up, trying to like kick Naruto right in the jaw. Naruto sidesteps it, grabs him by both of his arms, slams him on his back, and then turns towards him and like blows a kiss at him. As from here, Rock Lee would like kind of like do like a sweeping kick type thing. Naruto falls, but as he falls, he would jump up. Lee throws a kick, he misses. Naruto then grabs him by the fist, and he would proceed to flick Lee in the forehead, sending him flying back into Might Guy's arms. As Guy would catch Lee and would be like, Lee, what happened? And Lee would look at him and be like, Guy Sensei, he is strong. And from here, you know, my guy would be like, well there, kid, you sure do know how to fight. Where did you learn how to do that? And then Naruto just looks at him and he's like, well, I trained myself. And then not Rock Lee, but my guy would be like, well, I sure am looking forward to seeing you sometime in the Chunin exams. And Naruto would say, yeah, definitely, bushy brows. As they make their way into the examination room, they pass, and ultimately after that ends up pretty much going down. What happens after this is Anko makes her presence known, and they make their way towards the Forest of Death. I'm going to skip straight into the battle with Orochimaru because I'm low-key super excited to cover this. Okay? Now, this is how the battle would start. Orochimaru makes his presence known. Everybody is frozen in fear. Sasuke can't move. Sakura's like, what do I do? Sasuke stabs himself in the leg and takes Sakura away, and Naruto just stays looking at Orochimaru. At this moment, Sasuke's in there monologuing, and he's just like, what's Naruto doing? Like, he's gonna get himself killed. He must be too scared. But Naruto from here would speak up and say, so, your power, it's pretty great. I would have to say that if I had to say who you are, I'd have to say you're probably one of the legendary Sanin, am I correct? And if my deduction's accurate, then I'd have to say you are Orochimaru, the one that deserted the village, the rogue nin. Interesting. How you went from being such a great person in this village to now being the very person who seeks to destroy it. I'm gonna put an end to you, and I'm gonna do it honorably. Put your hands up, soldier. As from here, Orochimaru would simply laugh and shoot a snake jutsu at the direction of Naruto, shooting hundreds of snakes at him. Naruto would simply scoff at this, and as the snakes are coming in at him, Naruto would say, Futun Jutsu! As from here, he would shoot a fire style jutsu straight at the direction of the snakes, and all of them would just get absolutely bodied. Orochimaru would end up coming in from behind Naruto, trying to slash him with a blade, and Naruto would simply grab it with one hand, as he would then put his finger up to Orochimaru, flick him into 3 trees, and Orochimaru would get back up in pain, being like, what? You know what I mean? Like, he's completely shocked. He's like, how is a Genin doing this? But Naruto would appear right in front of Orochimaru once more, before then uppercutting him up into the air, jumping up and then balling both of his fists up together and slamming Orochimaru back onto the ground, causing him to ricochet and cough out so much blood. And then Naruto would come right back out as he then soccer kicks Orochimaru through 10 trees. And Orochimaru, once he would like get up, Orochimaru would be so weak he can't even like move, bro. And Naruto was like right in front of him, just walking over to him slowly. Orochimaru immediately reverse summons himself out of there, and Naruto would say, pitiful. He didn't even go out like a true warrior. Must be scared of death. As from here, Naruto would fall down onto one knee as he gets memories and flashbacks of his old lives, because he has the powers of basically every anime protagonist you could think of, and he has all their like fighting styles and stuff, and Naruto hasn't even gotten down to using all of them yet. Like, Naruto can really go crazy if he really wanted to. But what would pretty much end up happening after this is Naruto walks over towards Sasuke and Sakura and would say, let's keep moving. As from here, they make their way towards the Chunin Tower, and they would actually be the first ones to arrive, shattering Minato and Itachi's record as well as Gaara's. Eventually 2 days would go by, and Naruto would finally be told who his first opponent is going to be. Now in the original, Naruto has to face off against Kiba, but I think that that's too obvious, and I feel like that's just a boring match to watch. I mean, obviously Naruto's going to curb stomp him, so we're going to switch the pecking order a bit. Hinata's actually going to be the one who faces off against Kiba, and Naruto's going to have to face off against Neji in the first match. What would end up going down is that immediately Neji would step into the ring, and he would pretty much be cautious, not talking smack and not acting like he's high and mighty. My guy would have told him a whole lot of things about Naruto and how he was able to defeat Lee with nothing but a finger. As from here, Neji would actually be on guard, Byakugan active, as he would rush in at Naruto and throw a gentle fist attack at Naruto. At this moment it would land, or so he thinks, and from here he would begin to start the 64 palm attack, and Naruto would pretty much deflect each and every single one of them. Neji, after the end of it, would smirk and say, well, it looks like my guy overestimated you. The smoke would clear, and Naruto would simply stand there and say, not quite. As he says it into his ear and he's right next to him, Neji would attempt to attack him, and Naruto simply just parries, grabs him by the arm and begins to crushing it, causing his wrist to get completely shattered and Neji's wrist to be purple and red and blue all at the same time. Neji from here would scream out in pain as Naruto would say, what's wrong? Kicking him in the stomach, sending him flying into the concrete wall, as Naruto from here would say, be gone. And he would literally 1-inch punch him into the wall even further, causing a deep crater of Neji's body to indent into the wall, and Naruto would finally end up moving on to the next round. Neji would be taken into the hospital in critical condition, but ultimately would survive, and then we would have the battle between Hinata versus Kiba. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't think this battle would be even at all. I mean, obviously Hinata has the abilities of the Gentle Fist, and Kiba has the abilities of, you know, Wolf or Fang over Fang, and that's pretty much it. So I think that Hinata honestly has the upper edge on him, and just due to the fact that it's part 1 and Hinata honestly could have beat almost anybody else here, I think that I'm gonna definitely have to give it to Hinata for this one. Continuing on with the story, eventually we have Naruto meeting Jiraiya during the 1 month of training, and during this time, instead of Naruto being the one who gets trained by Jiraiya, Naruto would be the one pushing Jiraiya further. During this time, however, Naruto would have ended up asking Jiraiya a simple question, asking him what Sage Mode is, saying that he's read up on it but hasn't exactly figured out how to work the kinks around it, right? And Jiraiya would say, like, Sage Mode, like, you're asking a pretty complicated question, like, Like, how did you know about that? And Naruto says that he heard about it in the scroll of sealing. As Jiraiya simply would scoff and say, huh, how'd you get your hands on that? And Naruto would say it was easy. He stole it. As from here, Jiraiya would crack a laugh, and from here he would end up telling Naruto it's too hard anyways. As from here, Naruto would say, not really. And what would pretty much end up going down is that he would immediately end up going into an imperfected version of Sage Mode with the knowledge that he's read about and just theorizing that that's exactly how Sage Mode would work. Jiraiya would be completely shocked at the fact that Naruto can go into an imperfect Sage Mode, and Naruto from here would begin going into a Toad-like stage before Jiraiya would smack him on the head and Naruto would go back. He'd say that he's been working on it. And Jiraiya would explain that, like, he's a prodigy. He'd be like, wow. And he takes him to Miyaboku. Once there, Naruto ends up learning everything there is to learn about Sage Mode and would pick it up instantly. It's like secondhand nature to Naruto. And you know how the original Naruto was like gather energy and he has to like have a clone stand away and like gather energy? Nope. This time around, Naruto straight closes his eyes, open them, and bam, Sage Mode activated. Like, that's all it takes. Naruto from here would finally begin to be ready for his final battle, which is ultimately going to be against Hinata, seeing as she was the one who beat Kiba, and in the original, Naruto and Neji were a thing. So he would end up facing off against Hinata. And what would pretty much end up going down for the first battle is that Naruto would turn towards Hinata and say that he's not going to go easy on her. He's going to take her seriously as a warrior and not show partiality just because she's a woman. Hinata would smile before saying, well, may we have a good clean fight. And Naruto would actually be very happy at that. From here, the proctor would say, Hajime. And immediately Naruto would blitz at Hinata, smoke would rise, and Naruto would already hold a kunai to Hinata's throat saying, give up. Hinata would immediately put her hand up and say that she gives up, and Naruto would move on to the next round. Finally, Sasuke would end up arriving a little later, seeing as he had to unlock his Sharingan and work on the Chidori during this time. He would finally end up arriving. Then he has to face off against Gaara, and this time when Gaara goes into the forest and like he's like running away and hiding and transforming into his tailed beast. In the original, we have the attack on the village, but Orochimaru already tested his luck against Naruto, and he's not. Like, I'm telling you guys, he does not want any of the smoke. Like, Orochimaru predicts one thing. He thinks to himself that Naruto wasn't even going all out. So the last thing Orochimaru wants to do is go back to that place where he's probably gonna die or worse or something. So yeah, he definitely doesn't want to do that. And yeah, he's just simply not going to do it, you know? So what would pretty much end up going down after that is that Naruto would chase Gaara into the forest and there would be no attack. Naruto, Sasuke, they would chase Gaara down, and eventually when Naruto would catch up, he would end up seeing that Sasuke's facing off against Gaara. Naruto would simply just watch from afar, thinking to himself that he should probably let Sasuke handle this one, or at least try. That he probably shouldn't put his self-confidence down, but eventually Sasuke would be about to die, and Naruto would come in last second, grabbing both Gaara and Sasuke's arm and splitting them apart, just like how Kakashi would have done to Naruto and Sasuke's Chidori and Rasengan clash in the rooftop fight. After this, Naruto would quickly blitz over towards Gaara and say sleep, as he simply taps him on the forehead with 2 fingers, and Gaara would straight just pass out. As soon as this happens, Gaara would then let out Shukaku fully, and Naruto would say he was not expecting this. Naruto from here would simply weave a bunch of hand signs before creating 100 clones and saying water style, devastation jutsu, as a gigantic tsunami so massive that it was so big that it literally consumed Shukaku would end up arriving, and it straight turns him into like a muddy slushy thing that Shukaku couldn't even control. From here, Naruto would walk over to Sasuke and he would put his hand out saying like, come on, let's go. But Sasuke slaps it away and says, how in the world are you so strong? Like, what is it with you? Like, how are you always one step ahead of me? Like, no matter how much I wish it wasn't true, you're so much stronger than me. And I'm just stuck here. Why? And Naruto would look at him and say, right now is probably not the time. But Sasuke would say, make it the time. As from here, he would end up looking at Naruto angrily with like rage in his eyes. And he would say that it's not fair. Like, what does he need all that power for? And Naruto says he doesn't need all that power, but Naruto's worked 100 times harder than he has, and he's worked about 1,000,000 lifetimes more than Sasuke has to train. He simply isn't doing it hard enough. And Naruto would look at Sasuke as he walks away from him. He would say, listen, if you truly want to get strong, meet me at the training grounds at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. And Sasuke would simply remain silent, as the very next day, Naruto would end up pulling up exactly where he told Sasuke he was gonna be, and Sasuke would say, so what now? I'm here at 3 a.m. What training are you gonna put me through? It's not like any sort of training's ever gonna get me to the level that you're at, right? You know that, don't you, Naruto? And Naruto looks at the direction of Sasuke and says, shut up, Sasuke. As from here, Sasuke would remain quiet, and Naruto would say that the first thing on the agenda is to get some physical work in, like to get his body up to Ko. So they immediately begin to do like Rock Lee style training, however, like 5 times harder. And at the end of it, like Sasuke, sorry, I was about to say Rock Lee, but no, Sasuke would be completely out of breath, and he'd be like, can we stop now? And Naruto looks at him and says, Sasuke, you want to get stronger, right? Because honestly, we're just getting started. What? What do you mean we're just getting started, Naruto? Have you any idea how long we've been out here? It's been about 4 hours. We got here at 3 a.m. and it's already 7. What are you talking about? And Naruto looks at him and says, look, Sasuke, if you want to stay weak, you can leave. Like, you can get out of here. I'm not going to stop you. But if you want to keep getting stronger, then we have another 6 hours ahead of us. And since it looks like you're about to pass out, I guess we can take a little break. Naruto from here turns to Sasuke and says, come on, come with me. And Sasuke follows Naruto. They then make their way towards Ichiraku Ramen shop. And once there, they both end up eating a good amount of food. Following this, Naruto would ask for 2 little buckets of water, and they would end up taking them, and Sasuke would be having to actually take them both in each arm. Now, Naruto would do something interesting with Sasuke, and he would tell him that for every time that he drops water on their way towards the training grounds again, Naruto is going to make him do 100 push-ups for each little like droplet of water that falls. Like if he drops like a splash of water, like let's say he's walking a little fast, a little water spills out, that's 100 push-ups. So Sasuke would proceed to walk, and he spills water about approximately 6 times. So now Sasuke has to do 600 push-ups, and Sasuke is completely tired after that. But Naruto says, all right, day 1 of training, I think that the best course of action here would probably be to teach you how to take a hit. And Sasuke would be like, what are you talking about, Naruto? I already know how to take a hit. I mean, I'm a ninja after all. He smirks and says, this part will be easy. And Naruto says, oh, do you? You know exactly how to take a hit? And Sasuke says, of course he does. Naruto from here goes on a 1-inch punch Sasuke in the gut, and Sasuke would proceed to cough out blood as he would say, what'd you do that for? And Naruto just looks at him and says, well, that's one of the hits you're going to be having to take every single day. And Sasuke's just like, nah, bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, you're insane if you think I'm going to let you punch me like that. And then Naruto's like, oh, you don't have a choice, Sasuke. From here, he begins to literally ragdoll on Sasuke and just beat him down to the ground over and 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 over. And Sasuke gets to the point where he's like basically just about to collapse in pain. Like, it's bad how much pain Sasuke is currently in. Like, let me just like say it like this. Sasuke is having a very, very terrible day right now. And it's just not going to get better, to put it lightly, okay? So Sasuke's having a tough time, and what would pretty much end up going down after this is that we would fast forward about, say, a week after the not attack on the Leaf Village, considering that this time Orochimaru, he kind of proceed away. He kind of like got scared off, right? And so what would pretty much end up happening is that there is no search for Tsunade arc, and instead, when the Akatsuki members end up arriving to the village and they try to kidnap Naruto, this time around, what would end up actually going down is going to be very, very impressive, because Naruto and Sasuke would pretty much be walking down the village and they would be doing their usual training. They'd be doing like a little jog around the village, when suddenly, to their left, they end up noticing that there's two individuals with cloaks and a bunch of jonin there fighting against them. My guy at this current moment would be looking at the ground and trying to face off against Itachi, but it's just not working. Ultimately, Itachi would place him under a genjutsu, and Sasuke, realizing who this is, would immediately rush it and be like, Itachi! Charging up a Chidori immediately, rushing in as Itachi simply catches him by the arm and then would proceed to put him into a genjutsu. That would be when Naruto would come in and throw a kunai in the middle of both he and Kisame, and Naruto in one swift motion would do a split kick to hit both of them before then grabbing Kisame's body and tossing it into Itachi. Both of them would fall to the ground, and Kisame would get up in rage, saying, "This kid," as he'd say, "I'm gonna enjoy tearing you limb from limb." And Naruto would laugh and say, "I'd love to see you try." Getting into a battle stance as he would turn towards Kisame and say, "Let's go." And Kisame would rush in with his blade, trying to cut towards Naruto, but Naruto would easily be able to jump over it and simply weave and dodge, having it so that no attack that Kisame tried to throw at him would have worked whatsoever. Like, it literally was just so easy for Naruto. It was like nothing, you know? And so what would pretty much end up going down after this is that Naruto would turn towards the direction of Kisame, and when he swings his sword at him, Naruto catches it with one hand, then he would spin it in his hand, throw it away, and Kisame would like pretty much end up weaving hand signs for a water style. Immediately, this gigantic wave of water would come in, and it would engulf Naruto. Naruto would be sent back flying, and as soon as that happens and Naruto's about to get up, Itachi would follow that up with a fire style fireball jutsu. However, Naruto would easily be able to deflect that one with an earth style mud wall, and eventually he would blitz right behind Itachi being shocked at the fact that he couldn't track him with his Mangekyo, and Naruto would proceed to straight just like hit him in a pressure point that would cause Itachi, like, one of his legs to fail. I mean, he hits him in the back of the thigh, and Itachi just falls, and he's on one knee at this current moment, trying to hold himself up. But suddenly, Naruto would then tap him 3 more times, causing Itachi to then fall onto the ground, completely paralyzed. Only thing he's able to move at this current moment is his eyes, and now he has to watch as Kisame gets absolutely bodied, and Naruto would blitz in at Kisame with his own blade, cutting Kisame in half, and pretty much turning back towards Itachi and saying that the honor of being taken out won't be his, it'll be Sasuke's. As Sasuke would walk over, and he would end up pretty much smirking before saying, "This is for our clan," as he slams his Chidori into Itachi, and Itachi straight dies. Like, he doesn't even get the chance to tell Sasuke like, "Oh, you know, it was the clan," like none of that, bro. He dies just like with Sasuke thinking he was a villain, just like Itachi wanted, right? And then after that would end up going down, Naruto and Sasuke would continue their training. 3 years of training would go by, and during this time, Sasuke would end up getting insane hands. We're talking, Sasuke gets so strong in these 3 years that genuinely speaking, he could body Obito. Like I don't even want to sugarcoat it, y'all. Like, he could genuinely just destroy Obito by himself, right? And so what would pretty much end up going down after this is that because the attack on the Hidden Leaf Village would have gone down almost like it was in canon, what would pretty much end up going down is that they would then be informed of the fact that they have to go on a mission. Now, what is this mission, you guys might be asking? You guys are like, oh yeah, what mission is it? Well, the mission pretty much consists of saving the Kazekage, Gaara. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura with the 100 healings jutsu would all make their way there, and with Kakashi as mission leader, they end up making their way towards the village, ultimately finding out that Kankura was poisoned. Sakura heals him, and eventually they make their way towards the cave where Gaara is currently being taken his tailed beast out of, right? The operation would have just finished, and Gaara would have completely just died after having that happen to him. And Naruto would immediately blitz in, and with one straight perfect punch to Sasori's puppet, it would just shatter, and Sasori's true form would finally be unveiled. Naruto from here would grab Sasori, toss him away up into the air, and Sasuke would lunge in at him with a Chidori already charged as he pierces it straight through the heart of Sasori. And from here, Naruto would turn towards Deidara, who would immediately try to escape with a clay bird, but Naruto from here would go on to use clairvoyance as he would begin to see everything around himself as if he had a Byakugan. Naruto from here would proceed to say, "Lightning style, lightning's whirlwind," as a lightning cage would end up around, like, surrounding all of them, right? And then this like lightning cage would be like spinning at such a rate that like Deidara just couldn't get out of there. The second that his clay bird touched it, the explosion would have gone off, and then Datara would just be completely trapped inside with them. He can't get out, and then Kakashi would turn towards him as he simply Mangekyo Sharingans him out of existence with his Kamui, and Datara would die in the Kamui dimension due to lack of food, right? And so that's pretty much how that arc pretty much plays out. And after we have that go down, we then have the arc where Naruto has to go off and fight again. Sorry boys, I literally just ate food. So yeah, sorry about that. But no, yeah, Naruto has to go off and he's pretty much in search of trying to, like, I don't want to use the word save. Like, he's on the search for, like, trying to beat down Hidan, because Hidan and Kakuzu would have just been responsible for the death of Asuma, right? One of the hidden village like members who's like really cool and all that cool stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much what would end up going down. And because of that, what would pretty much also end up going down is that Naruto would just kind of begin getting ready for whatever is to come, you know what I mean? Like, he's just preparing himself mentally, and Sasuke and himself would actually both be meditating. They'd be on top of a hillside when suddenly Kakuzu and Hidan would make their presences known, and Naruto would turn to Sasuke before saying, "Go take care of them and show them that move I taught you." Sasuke from here would smirk before then cloning himself 100 times and then rushing in there. All of those Sasuke clones would then proceed to jump up into the air, and they would proceed to all use a water style jutsu, causing a tsunami of water, the likes that Hidan and Kakuzu had never seen before, to completely flood them. And from here, Sasuke would then proceed to say, "Chidori, lightning stream," as he slams his hand into the tsunami itself, and conducting electricity, it would absolutely destroy the bodies of Hidan and Kakuzu. However, they don't die due to the nature of their immortality, and then Sasuke would then blitz in and straight just KO them like Super Smash Bros. Like version. Like, he straight gets a power up like mid blitzing them and just KO, you know, like Sasuke wins, like would pretty much basically end up popping up on the screen. It'd be legendary, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. And what would end up going down after this is that we would end up having Naruto simply turn towards the direction of where all of that would have ended up happening, spitting towards the ground and then saying, "Well, that's that." And then Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino would end up arriving, being like, "What did we miss?" And then Naruto's like, "Oh, nothing. You know, we beat those guys. They were nothing." And from here, you know, like, they're just shocked. They're just like, "What? Like seriously? Like, there's no way that you beat them like just like that, bro. Like, what's up with that? Like those guys are supposed to be like super strong." And Naruto's like, "Super strong?" He literally laughs, and then he's like, "Nah, bro. Like, those guys are everything but strong." And then he proceeds to make his way back towards the village. Eventually, the day would come where Pain would end up arriving at the village. However, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Seeing as Obito already knows that Itachi and Kisame were both taken out by this Naruto fellow when he was just a genin, or like a kid, you know, like 13, he decided that he's not gonna be sending Pain in by himself. Nah, himself, himself, Pain, Nagato, but Konan would all be the ones who end up pulling up on him, and they're like, "You ready?" You know what I mean? Like all three of them pull up, and then Pain uses his Chibaku Tensei, is it Chibaku Tensei or is it, I don't know, but basically the jutsu that destroys everything in the Hidden Leaf Village. Following the destruction of all of that and the collapse of the Hidden Leaf Village, suddenly Naruto would just be standing there in a crater. As from here, he turns up to the sky, and seeing Pain, Naruto would immediately blitz up there as he creates clones mid-air that he would step off of, and they would just disperse. Like, he steps on them, poof, 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 poof. But once he makes it to the top, suddenly a man in a mask would come rushing at him with a kunai in hand, and Naruto would proceed to simply weave mid-air Ultra Instinct style and straight punch, but he would punch straight through Obito. Naruto, however, would still be making his way, and his trajectory would be going towards Pain, and once he passes Obito, Naruto would shatter the Diva Path, like completely destroying it, seeing as the 5-second charge up wasn't completely done. And then after that would happen, we would end up seeing Naruto land on the ground, Konan shooting origami paper at him, but then suddenly somebody with a sword would come in, and that would be revealed to be none other than Sasuke Uchiha, who comes in and straight just begins to dismantle Konan. He just destroys her in like half a second, bro. Like, it's tragic. He cuts her in half, and it's almost like he swears he could see paper like is the thing that makes up her body. But regardless of that, what ended up happening afterwards is that Naruto now has to face off against Obito and the remaining passive pains, alongside the help of Sasuke, who at this point would simply just say Sage Mode. And Naruto would do so as well, as they both activate their Sage Mode, and Naruto from here would go on to say, alright, so how do we beat this guy? Sasuke simply says that they could just like take out those other guys and then focus on him later. And Naruto and him would both smile. They then jump off of each other and they blitz in, moving so fast that Obito couldn't even register it, and all the paths would just get dismantled. We're talking Dragon Ball Z style, where like when like Trunks ended up destroying all the weaker soldiers. That's pretty much how sad it is, like that they were able to just absolutely obliterate them, right? And what would end up going down after that is that then they would turn towards Obito, and it'd be at this moment that more ninjas would end up arriving. Like Kakashi would be on the scene, Mike Guy would be on the scene, Neji would be there, Hinata's there, like all the ninjas are there, and they're looking at him, and Naruto simply says, "You just signed your death wish." And Obito would look around, realizing that he's screwed, and he straight just teleports out of there. Like normally I have Obito get bodied and that's the end, but nah, genuinely speaking, I think Obito values his own life, and he just straight disappears from existence. Like he just gets out of there and straight just gives up on the plan of Bikoto Omatsukami, because it's just not gonna work. Not while Naruto Uzumaki breeds. And then years would pass, ultimately leading to the Otsutsuki finally arriving. And when Naruto meets them, he'd be like super excited. Like he'd be like, finally I have somebody that I can face off against, like use all of these cool moves and attacks and all this stuff. But when they arrive, like bro, they're so weak. Like their taijutsu skills are so lame, and Naruto doesn't even get to enjoy the fight that he's always wanted. Ultimately, Naruto is just way too strong for anybody in the Narutoverse to even handle. And honestly, he was already at that level from the first mission of the Land of the Wave, so that's that. And that pretty much would end up concluding, what if Naruto had straight hands? AKA, what if Naruto was a taijutsu master, right? I ended up actually enjoying this series. It was a short one, a lovely one, but the next series that will be dropping on the channel will probably be a My Hero one alongside another Naruto one. So definitely be sure to check that out, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.